On this week's episode of Bayou Wild TV.
Brought the good mojo, got the old school boat.
He's on there.
He's on. Coming up from San Diego down to Mexico, trying some new territory for swordfish. Oh yeah! That's awesome. Closed captioning is brought to you by Global Outdoors. Find your next adventure and share your experiences with others by downloading the Global Outdoors mobile app or visiting globaloutdoors.com. Every day, we strive to preserve traditions that have spanned generations.
Around every turn of the bayou, Mother Nature reveals unique people, places, and experiences.
And the bounty of animals and fish. Well, in Louisiana, we just call that lanyard. I'm Don Dubuque.
I'm Chris LeCoq.
I'm Captain Martha Spencer. Join us as we document the adventure,
Sportsmanship,
and heritage that make us Bayou Wild.
Well, we just landed in sunny San Diego, California. We're on another adventure. This one involves fishing. We'll show you coming up. Welcome to the West Coast. Where we trade pelicans for seals and sea lions. So everyone comes to Louisiana to see alligators, pelicans. People come to the West Coast to see sea lions, and this is their home. Not a bad life, eating fish, sunbathing, and maybe having a little fight here and there. And the humidity is never higher than our driest day in Louisiana. We're here for a Pacific fishing adventure, but the target species may be more familiar than you think. So you have to do this for good luck. Always. It's worked almost every time. 60% of the time, works every time.
In Louisiana, we live to cook, and we know a little Louisiana flavor brings any meal to life. Whether it's Friday's fish fry or Tuesday's crispy chicken, with Louisiana fish fry, you can turn any meal into a bona fide family favorite. Let's all Louisiana.
This is Don Dubuque asking you to join me as a member of the Coastal Conservation Association. For 30 years, CCA has worked in Louisiana to conserve our incredible fisheries, making sure that our fishing is great today and for generations to come. Whether looking out for redfish and specks, eliminating gill nets, building reefs across the coast, or work at the state capitol and in D.C., CCA is doing what's best for the fish and the sport we love so much. Your $30 membership will ensure that this work and our great fishing endures well into the future. Go to ccalouisiana.com and join CCA today.
In Louisiana, we live to cook, and we know a little Louisiana flavor brings any meal to life. Whether it's Friday's fish fry or Tuesday's crispy chicken, with Louisiana fish fry, you can turn any meal into a bona fide family favorite. Let's all Louisiana.
We're out here at Fisherman's Landing in San Diego with Bight Sportfishing. We're headed out for a fish I'm a little bit familiar with, the swordfish, but I haven't caught a Pacific sword yet. Let's see if we can find one. Well, initially we had booked this trip to go catch bluefin tuna, but unfortunately with timing, the bluefin decided to leave. So we had to go for what's biting. A good captain will tell you, don't try and target something that's pretty hard to catch. There were bluefin, there were little, they were over 100 miles out. And we decided that the best fish to target this time of year in California was absolutely my favorite fish to target in the Gulf of Mexico, the broadbill swordfish. Charter fishermen like myself and commercial anglers have been targeting swordfish in the Gulf of Mexico for a few decades now. But daytime fishing on the West Coast has been exclusive to commercial anglers up until just a few years ago. So I am learning Jake and Bight Sportfishing's techniques for sword fishing. They're very similar to ours. They're using a heavier lead and a different type of squid. We're setting up a tip rod, which is the one where you have to watch the tip, and a buoy rod, which is one that you don't have to babysit as closely. The buoy is pretty much suspended by the weight, so it stands up when you're not hooked up, and it'll lay down or disappear when you get a bite. With much colder Pacific waters, commercial harpoon boats actually sight fish for the fish swimming at the surface. But as fishing evolves and trends catch up, charter guides like Jake Clinshaw with Bayou Sportfishing are now taking on the challenge of daytime deep dropping. I'm not used to this much weight.
Oh, I did like the obligatory amount.
When everybody's starting to figure it out, which was basically 2019, was when everybody really started trying like recreationally. Because we were late, we can kind of like take techniques from like all over the world because everybody else basically already has it figured out. You could kind of tell like what was working, what wasn't, and then you kind of just fine tune it from there into like our own little fishery here.
So in Louisiana, there's a lot of different areas you can run to, a lot of different spots you can fish, and that's the same case here. The first day we went about 14 miles from the marina, due west.
While in the Gulf of Mexico, we have abundant areas of ditches and canyons along the continental shelf. But on the West Coast, anglers must look for swords differently.
We just had our first swordfish tournament out here, which
really?
was kind of cool,
That's
but
cool.
and that like kind of brought light to like how many people are actually doing it.
Right.
But then again, it was cool because you got coverage from everywhere. It's like all these people like caught fish
More
in different
knowledge,
spots. Yeah, and you're like, oh well, like that's a spot I like never even thought of trying or whatever, and because we have such a big playing field, seeing like where the fish move and all that.
And we did not get a bite. We marked a ton of bait. Jake was super excited when we pulled up. He was actually really excited that he'd never seen so much bait before, which typically lends itself to catching fish or getting bites, but it didn't really work out that way, and day one was a bust.
Better remember that one.
Back at him tomorrow.
What about your bits?
We'll get him.
One of the reasons why Double D has been around for 50 years is because we are consistent with what built the business. And we go to great lengths to make sure that when you bring a deer or a hog or whatever it may be, your meat stays your meat all the way through the process. But we want to be as true to the original intent, which is a local meat company. And that's something that we want to maintain for as long as the Lord lets us do it.
We love our children. We protect them. We guide them. We prepare them for life in the world. With all that we do, from deep in our hearts, we cannot control all things. Life-threatening illnesses and disabilities affect far too many of our children each year. While we cannot change the circumstance, we can make dreams come true. Dreams to provide hope, to provide spiritual healing and strength, to provide moments of happiness and relief in the hardest of times. We can give a glimmer of light and hope in a time of darkness and despair. Join huntofalifetime.org to help make dreams come true, to provide hope for children with life-threatening illnesses and disabilities. Hunt of a Lifetime is a non-profit organization fulfilling dreams for hunting and fishing trips to youth 21 and under with life-threatening illnesses and disabilities. Visit huntofalifetime.org to learn how you can make a difference.
I've never been here and not had a crowd. It doesn't matter what day you come, what day you eat. When you got food like this, I mean, that's mine. I might share, but the tuna dip is obviously.
Maybe I'll arm wrestle you. Anyway, come by and see us. We're going to be here 2 Mondays a month. Check the schedule on Southside Cafe, also our Facebook page. Come by and talk a little fishing with us and enjoy a really good meal.
And sometimes
win some prizes.
Yeah, we were going to do a gift card today, so let's pick our first winner.
Come by and you might be a big winner too. You know you're going to win with the food here at Southside Cafe. This is Don Dubuque asking you to join me as a member of the Coastal Conservation Association. For 30 years, CCA has worked in Louisiana to conserve our incredible fisheries, making sure that our fishing is great today and for generations to come. Whether looking out for redfish and specks, eliminating gill nets, building reefs across the coast, or work at the state capitol and in D.C., CCA is doing what's best for the fish and the sport we love so much. Your $30 membership will ensure that this work and our great fishing endures well into the future. Go to ccalouisiana.com and join CCA today.
Welcome back to Bayou Wild TV. We're on the Pacific Coast, daytime sword fishing with Bight Sportfishing. Many attribute South Florida fishermen as the pioneers of this fishing style, but anglers from New Zealand to New Hampshire now target broadbills during the day. Swordfish are considered pelagic, or migratory species that typically dwell more than 1,000 feet deep.
You're a younger captain, but you have a lot of experience with fishing. So how did you get into the offshore world and decide to make it your job?
Well, I started out on sport boats originally, like fishing the islands and close, like intercoastal, like how you guys have, but like near shore. And then I ended up working on one of the sport boats that fishes offshore. It's called the Pacific Dawn. They fish like multi-day trips.
Similar to Venice, I feel like out here you have different seasons and different fish you target, and then some fish you can target most of the year. But what is your favorite thing to fish for out here, and what's also the most challenging fish?
The most challenging is probably swordfish. That's probably my favorite to fish for too. I think that's the most challenging. You can kind of fish them year round, but for us it's like probably our shortest season. I mean, you can always, there's always some residents, but it's definitely our shortest season. That or sea bass. Sea bass has always been my favorite. But.
As any good captain would do, you switch gears when things don't go right, and you try a different plan to catch fish. So day 2, Jake took us to Mexico. Which sounds like it's a huge trip, but it's actually only 20 miles to where we were. And so we took about a 45-minute ride down south, and we were fishing in Mexico waters where we saw some pretty cool stuff. Where is it? There? Oh, yeah. Not as gross as it looks. Here in California, the guys from Bight, the captains there, are really pioneers. The only people that are targeting these fish consistently are commercial fishermen. So they're taking tips from them on techniques, on what to look for, on where to go, and they don't have as much help as we do. It's a very new fishery to them, and so it is a big deal, and it is a really big feat, and I think they get more excited about the fish that they do land because it is so rare for them, and not necessarily rare for them, but just that they are really figuring it out. That was a really soft bite.
Eat it.
Just tell me what to do. Oh, there he is again.
Just eat it. Just let him eat for a second.
Come on, baby, give it to me. Should I bring it up a little bit? You don't ever raise it on him. There he is again.
Oh,
there he is again.
He's eating it. Just let him eat it.
Oh, there he is. There he is.
Oh my God! Just eat it. Just stop it. Did you go live for a second?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Oh, there he is.
Drop it. He's on there.
He's on.
Okay, so now I pretty much do nothing until he comes up.
What?
Yeah. He's swimming with 10 pounds.
Look at this shit. This is crazy. This is so different.
Yeah, now I literally just let him just swim all the way up.
Do you keep...
That way you can tell which direction he's going and then you can clear the...
This is wild. So different. This is crazy. He has it in his mouth.
Oh my God, he whacked it for so long.
Come on.
He was just as mad as we were.
Look at this. Look, look. He has it. This is crazy.
Yeah, there's 10 pounds on there.
Oh my God. Oh my God. But that fish had other plans, and he never gave it to us easy. It's been probably over an hour and a half. When we just let him swim, he swam straight to the buoy line, which was a decent ways away. So we're under the impression that it's tangled somewhere. There's still 20 pounds of lead on the fish, so he's got a lot to fight against, which might work to our benefit in that he might be wore out. But we still have to get both leads off and the purple light that's on the long line clip. So Kathy's tag teaming it with me. It makes it a little more complicated, which why would anything else happen? And then something even crazier happened. Our fish was swimming a 10-pound lead up. Meanwhile, the buoy on the buoy rod was going down, which when you think about general physics, that shouldn't happen. There was another fish on the buoy rod at one point while we were fighting our fish, and we know this because the bait was chewed up when we finally landed the fish. We delicately brought this fish in. We had no idea how big it was going to be or if those lines would be touching, if the fish was wrapped up in one line. So we had to basically baby this fish in to make sure we would land it. There he is. Oh, it's too tiny. Is it? Yeah. He's just a little pup.
Oh, I can just yap a little bit normal?
Yeah. He's just all wound up. How anticlimactic.
He's so cool. Look at them. They're so cute.
I don't want my fish to be cute. I want him to be mean.
I thought he was. He was mean.
He was mean for a fish that fought 20 pounds of lead. Got it?
I think we still got another one.
We had a pretty epic day. We worked really hard for this fish. We fished for 2 days. First day, we didn't get a bite. It was a long 10 hours of fishing, but it's super awesome to catch a fish in another fishery. Captain Jake did a wonderful job, and Kathy, awesome job as well. And for us in Venice, you know, we catch all different size fish, but the fishery is so new here that this is completely awesome, and they're really doing a good job getting it figured out, which is probably way harder than what we've done. So he may not be the biggest fish I'll ever see, but he's definitely one of the coolest.
That's like the coolest one I've ever seen. He's so cute.
In 1967, Dutch Stogner realized his dream to run his own meat market. 50 years and 3 generations later, Double D and the Stogner family still operate with Dutch's original commitment to quality. Pick up some Double D sausage today and share your good times with us on Facebook.
Delta Marina is Plaquemines Parish fishing one-stop. Get live bait, fuel, ice, tackle, and marine supplies. Then launch into the world's most productive saltwater fishing. Return to the fishing cleaning station, relax in first-class cabins overlooking the bayou, all in Delta Marina's safety video-monitored parking lot. Need a fishing charter guide? Delta Marina can hook you up. Cook your catch in your kitchenette or dine in the upstairs restaurant. Visit Delta Marina for a day or a week. Stop in just off Highway 11 down Rosemary Drive in Empire. Visit thedeltamarina.com.
In 1967, Dutch Stogner realized his dream to run his own meat market. 50 years and 3 generations later, Double D and the Stogner family still operate with Dutch's original commitment to quality. Pick up some Double D sausage today and share your good times with us on Facebook.
You know, there's a lot of disagreements politically, lifestyle that, you know, maybe don't agree from Louisiana to California. But at the end of the day, outdoorsmen all agree on the same thing. And the people here are so kind. They're just as nice as Louisianians. And they're very hospitable, and they all want to do the same thing, catch fish.
One thing all swordfish enthusiasts can agree on is catching purple fever for those monsters of the deep, continuously searching and waiting for that next bigger fish.
Deep drop, offshore, so you have to be versatile in everything, and that requires like knowing all the little bits and pieces for that. Like island fishing, you'd have to know like which areas are going to bite on conditions, and you just have to be able to kind of be versatile in like every aspect of it because there's so many variations of fishing out here.
I was completely in awe of the whales and the dolphins and the birds and the seals. So I think when you boil it all down, we're really not that different. And people that like to fish, people that like to hunt, people that enjoy the outdoors, whether they're killing something or not, enjoy the outdoors.
No matter what the coast or body of water, we find passionate anglers that continue to embody what makes someone Bayou Wild.